Hey guys, so today I'm going to be planting some okra seed. I like to use 162 cell to put my okra seed into it because I find out that I know exactly what I'm going to be getting. I know how many plants I'm going to be getting. It makes it easy to plant. It's easy to take care of. Now for years and years I sowed it into the garden and it works great. But what I found out, I would overseed, make sure my seeds come up, and they always came up. But then I had to go back in there and thin out and then space them out, and then at the same time more seeds will come up, and I just wasted a lot of seeds. So I've been doing this probably about 4 years, maybe about four or 5 years. And so I love this tray right here. They're very durable, so I've used them probably about 5 years. And what I like about them is that they're cone shaped, just like a honeybee type cone. And it's got markings in here so that it creates it that the roots don't get tangled up. And then at the bottom back here, at the very back, you see the holes where the water can drain through. It can also take up water, but at the same time, if I'll let this soil dry out for about a day or so, let it dry out, depends on how wet it is, and I can take a stick or something other and poke it through there, and the plants pop right on out. So I love this tray because the fact that it's just so durable. It's a good investment. It was a little bit expensive, but it was definitely a good investment. So now I'll have this for probably, this will last longer than I will be living. So the soil that I'm going to be using here is Rejuvenant. It's a potting soil mix. It's nurtured from Nurture Your Roots, and it says 1945. It's a premium all-purpose indoor and outdoor use. So what I like about this is that it's got the perlite into it, peat moss. I mean the perlite and the peat moss, but it's also got the vermiculite into it. It's very light and it's very fluffy. So this soil here is for in-ground use, for maybe raised beds or window boxes or large planters or hanging baskets, pots of any size. And it's a little damp. I wasn't expecting it to be that heavy. And the reason I put this tray up under it is so that I always do this, so it'll help catch the soil. And I'm just gonna smear it around in here, get it into every cell. I like the bottom tray because it helps me not to waste whatever I'm using, whether it's seed starting mix or this, or and what I like about this is that it doesn't have very much bark into it. So little pieces like that I'll just take and throw out. Now okra seed, they're very hardly to come up, so if they'll come up into the garden without any problem, they'll come up in this really easy. Now I like it because it doesn't have that much into it. Now with you're starting small seeds, you want to make sure that you don't have all those bark pieces to get in the way of the small seeds. For okra seeds, we shouldn't even have a problem with this. Now most of the time in the past I have used the seed starting mix. Seed starting mix dries out a lot faster, but you just have to make sure that you keep whatever you're using moist so that the seeds will come up. Now with the okra seeds, I like this tray here because it's going to keep, because the seeds are a lot bigger, and it's going to keep the seeds moist so they can germinate. They got a hard shell on the outside of them, so it's not like small seeds where it's going to rot as much. But nevertheless, when it comes to planting seeds, you want to make sure that you don't get your seeds to rot. So we're just going to spread this over right here, 162. So what I found out, I'll use my best plants, and I have left them in here, and I'll give some away, but I have left them into this tray, and okra just has a tendency to it stays alive, is what I'm trying to say. So within this, we're just going to make some holes here we're going to mash this soil down. So that the soil is kind of at the little cone shape at the bottom. Since the seeds are bigger, I'm not concerned about it just, you know, the soil overtaking the seeds or getting lost in here. Okra will just come right on up. So the depth is going to probably be about 1 inch. Some cells have, by mashing it down like this, some cells have more soil into it or potting mix. I guess you could definitely use this like garden soil out of your garden, because the fact that, like a stick in there, for the fact that okra doesn't have a problem coming up. But I like to use something like this because garden soil has a tendency to dry out faster. But I guess if you had like a tray to help keep that soil moist, or just go out there every day and be sure to keep the seeds, all seeds, you want to keep them, the soil moist so that they will germinate. Now when I watered this, of course the water's going to go through the bottom, but I always like to put, and I have to watch it with certain seeds, I like to put water at the bottom and keep it wet. But if you keep it too wet on certain seeds, they will rot. But you can grab this soil down here, make use of it. I'm gonna go and gently see what I got going on here. If I got any sticks. This is really good soil right here. I like it. It reminds me of seed starting mix, but it's got I don't know if it said it had fertilizer into it. It just says earthworm castings. Okay, that's good. Sustainable source of peat, so that'll keep it moist. Water holding crystals. All right, so that's very good. Now I found this bag at Walmart and it was like $4. It was on clearance. Sometimes I don't mash it down as much, because the reason of making these indentions is so that my seed will pretty much be in the middle, and then I can put some soil on top of it to cover the seeds. Let's see my sail here. Now the seeds don't have to be just like perfect into the middle. There's a little stick or something in there, it's not going down. Because as you can tell, I'm not really taking out a whole lot of little sticks, or pine bark is what it is. Now the okra I'm going to be planting, I believe it's white okra, sent from a subscriber, Mr. and Mrs. Harts from Virginia. They send me seeds. If you watch my videos, you've heard me talk about that. And I was looking for some white okra. See how God works? I was looking for some... Oh, that chicken's making a lot of noise. I was looking for some white okra literally at the store when he sent me a message and said, hey, do you want some white okra? I believe it's white okra. I feel pretty confident that it is. So you see that? That's my soil, and I'll just either dump it back into a bag or dump it into a raised bed. I'll dump it somewhere. Most of the time I'll just take and scoop it back up and put it back into the bag. So now we're going to go ahead and plant these seeds. So he wrote on the bag, I just opened the envelope up, never opened it up. It says white velvet. Oh, white velvet okra. Ooh. Oh yeah. So I definitely, this was a seed that I wanted. And thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Hartz from Virginia. These are the seeds I was looking for at the store, and I picked some type of okra seed up, because usually for years and years I planted Clemson spineless. And Clemson spineless is very productive. It produces smaller pods. I heard this produces bigger pods. And so I've always planted Clemson spineless. Grandma did it, Mama did it. Well, back in the day, you didn't have a variety of okra. You just had just one Clemson spineless that I know of. And that's what all the old timers used to plant. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill these up. I'm just putting one, because it's 162 cells. I'm just gonna put one seed per cell. All these seeds look good. If I have a seed that doesn't look good, I'll just toss it out. But these look very, very good. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these into the cells, and then we're gonna take the next step of just covering these up and then watering them, and put some water in the bottom of this and make sure this soil is already moist. So just to make sure it's moist, go ahead and get these seeds to germinate. So in every cell we got one seed. I think one cell dropped 2 seeds, no big deal. So this okra will be good for frying, for canning. So I'm looking forward to that. I did can some okra. I'm not sure if I made a video on that or not, but you fix it a certain way that you can take and fry it. Yeah. So we're just going to take some of this wool, and we're just going to put it on top of it. Now, if you was doing this into a garden, what I usually do, was doing before I started doing sales, I would just take my hoe, make a straight line all the way down my row in the middle, and then I would just put my seeds down, just kind of spread them into a line, and then I would just cover them up, probably about an inch or so. Well, they'll work their way up. They go too deep, but like I said, I did that for years. That's how Grandma did it. That's how Mama did it. But now I got these cells. I like to put them in the cells, because basically I can tell if they've germinated, what's going on. I don't have to wait on the temperature of the ground. The okra like it to be hot. They like it when they'll germinate when it's hot. Or you can get them to come up, but for them to grow, then they like the soil temperature, a certain temperature, and the hotter it gets, the faster they'll grow. So we're just going to pat that down. I didn't wet this soil. It was I might have wet it weeks ago and just closed up the bag. I'm not really sure. Well, of course, when you buy potting soil, then it already comes moistened, so I might have just closed up the bag. So we see this soil that's at the bottom. That's why I like to use this in this tray here. And we're just going to put this back into the bag. Even though the soil is moistened, you see I don't have the tray on there yet. This is gonna help settle this soil. And I like to wet it, no matter what seed I'm doing, as long as they're not too tiny seeds. Then, you know, when you're too tiny, you got to watch this soil here. But it's already moistened, so it's not gonna take much. But what this is gonna do is not only just moisten this soil to where it needs to be at, but it's also going to help these seeds make the soil and soil-to-soil contact with the seeds. It's going to settle this soil down. It's also going to help me to kind of be able to see where these cells are at, because it's selling right now. Now I like to wait a minute. It's going to be draining down here. That's why I like to use this table, some type of table. Donkey, donkey, donkey. Hey, buddy. Hi. Hi, donkey. You sweet boy, you. Hi, donkey. Boy. That's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. So while we're waiting for that to drain, Donkey just walked by. Donkey, donkey. Oh, he's a mule. So we're just gonna grab this. Now this really doesn't take very long. I'm making this video longer than it actually takes. Oh, there's a little frog up under there. Baby, you better get on somewhere. You just got rolled over. Go. Oh, he came out of the greenhouse. Baby. Oh my goodness. I don't want to smash you. Oh, this is heavy now. This is really heavy. So I'm just going to put just a... Now I'm just going to kind of go through, get some soil. Get some water in the bottom of this tray. Just a little bit. And that's going to drain through. And that's pretty much all the water I want at this point in time. Because our temperatures are not hot here. It's going to be over cloudy it's supposed to rain Sunday. Today is, I think, Thursday or Friday. And so the temperatures are not hot yet. And so we haven't reached that place like we usually do, about 80 plus degrees. It's in March. I believe the date is March the 28th. So I'm sowing these seeds on March the 28th, giving them enough time to germinate and come up and be ready to plant into the garden. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and thank you all my subscribers. I appreciate that so much. And I do look at all the comments, and I do answer every comment. If I miss one, I'm sorry. I really look through all the comments, and I did a video on how to identify a good example of how to identify the female egg and the male egg. Now, it works for me. Doesn't work for everybody for some reason, but it works for me. And so there's been a lot of comments. If I missed your comment, please forgive me. And I continue looking to see if I overlooked some. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on to the next video.